Hi guys, we're going to have a look at the area of a triangle today, and we're going to develop the use of a formula in terms of this particular area. So let's just have a look at the most basic case. This is a right angle triangle. Now if we make it like a rectangle, we looked at the area of a rectangle in our previous lesson. I want you to kind of visually think about what the relationship is between that triangle and that rectangle. That rectangle has a length of length and obviously the breadth as breadth. Now what is the area of that rectangle? Remember what we did last lesson where we found the relationship between the number of square units inside that rectangle. And the formula we ended up getting is the area is the length times the breadth. Now what fraction is that triangle in comparison to our rectangle? Good, it's a half. Now what is the area of that triangle? Excellent, a half times the area of that rectangle. And we can call it area equals a half times the length times the breadth, or if we look at the base of the triangle and the height of the triangle, the perpendicular height, it's the area is a half times base times height. So there's the relationship for the area and the base and the height for that triangle. So you can get any triangle if you know the base and the perpendicular height, and you can always work out the area. This triangle looks a little bit different because it's not a right angle, but I'm going to put in a few little markers in here so you can visually see why it's still a half. So inside that triangle we have a height and a base, and it's still a half of that particular rectangle inside that red rectangle. So the area is a half times base times height. Now let's just think about this particular question. The base on that triangle is 15. The height is 8 centimeters. Now we're going to work out the area of that particular triangle, and I'll go through the steps. So that height is inside, obviously, so that perpendicular height is the height of that triangle. So the area is a half times base times perpendicular height. The base, we just abbreviate it as B. The H is the height. So we substitute those two values in, and we have a half times 15 times 8, which works out to be 60 square centimeters. Okay, just pause the video and I would like you to have a go at this. And this triangle is a little bit different to what we've seen because I've given you the diagonal, the hypotenuse. And if you remember that the area of a rectangle only needed the base and the height, or the length and the breadth, there was no need for the diagonal. So I've put in the diagonal there as a confuser, but I would like you to know that this particular thing is not necessary in any triangle. We only need the base and the height. So there are two values there that we actually use, one that we don't. So the area is a half times base times height. The base is 12, the height is 5. Substitute our values in, a half times 12 times 5, and we end up getting 30 square centimeters. Okay, how'd you go? There's a few ways we can actually answer this particular arithmetic if you don't have a calculator. You can do a half times, and 12 times 5 is 60, and that particular arithmetic is 30. Or you can say a half of 12 is 6 times 5. So there's a half of 12 in there. So there's a few different ways you can calculate this, but if you just use your calculator, you end up getting 30 square centimeters. Okay, pause the video. I would like you to, in your book, in the front of your book, calculate these two questions. Question 3 is saying find the area of the triangle. And question 4, I've given you what the area is, and you need to work backwards to calculate the perpendicular height. Once you've answered these two questions, can you please answer them in the link beneath this video, which will give you a website where you can put your answers in. So put your full name, put your answers, and we'll go through the answers next lesson. Alright guys, thanks for listening.